Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, and we will take your calls, 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast near you. All right, right now we have 50 degrees in Trenton, New Jersey. It is 53 degrees northern New Jersey. And then we go to California. We have 60 in Los Angeles, 59 in San Diego. Again, the forecast, if you couldn't make out the automated system, New Jersey is going to be cloudy today, but temps in the low to mid 60s. LA, gorgeous. This is postcard picture perfect, partly cloudy. 76 for the West Coast. Nice stuff. All right, we have some traffic to tell you about. There is a disabled vehicle just reported, New Jersey Turnpike inner roadway, and that is northbound north of interchange 13A by Newark Airport and 1 and 9 in Elizabeth. The center lane is blocked there. We have a crash now with property damage, and that is on 73 northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin. Left shoulder is closed. There's a down pole on Route 7 westbound south of Route 507 Schuyler Ave in Kearney. Right lane is closed, and there is an unanticipated construction delay right now on 1 and 9 truck route northbound from Hackensack Avenue in Kearney to Jersey City. 2 right lanes and the right shoulder are currently closed. Your Hudson River crossings leaking right now is extraordinarily heavy for this hour. 40 minutes in. Don't know what's causing that massive amount of delay, but that's what you have. The Holland is only 25 minutes in. GWB upper and lower levels, we take a look at what we have there, and it's fairly heavy but moving. You can see the upper level on the right. That has some motion in it, but that's still heavy. And the lower level on the left, right now we're being told it's a 30 to 35-minute ride into Manhattan. Our time rather is 7:03, and we look at the West Coast. We have a serious traffic collision that happened in South LA on the 710 at West Del Amo Boulevard on-ramp. There are weather conditions reported, and there was the chance of some rain, so this could be causing that. Remember, they get a little spit of rain in California. People aren't used to it. Spit of rain will cause that, but weather-related issues right now, and that is on Broadway by Laco Road in LA proper. People saying there are some issues through there. And we also have a report of a closure of a road in West LA by Rosecrans Ave East off-ramp at the 405. Another road closure, and that is in West LA at the 405 and West Imperial Highway. It is 4 minutes past the hour. President Trump was gifted a precious bell that came from an historic British submarine called the HMS Trump. King Charles III gave Trump the gift during a state dinner at the White House last night. The king also thanked Trump for his, quote, generous hospitality during what he said was his 20th visit to the United States. His first, though, as the British sovereign. The king left Trump's guests laughing with his wry observation that the, quote, British had made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House. He's referring to when troops set it on fire in 1814. We weren't exactly friends back then. Earlier in the day, King Charles addressed the U.S. Congress, where he received a huge reception. One of the directors of the all-girls Christian camp where 25 campers and 2 counselors were killed in a 2025 flood apologized yesterday as lawmakers questioned the owner's efforts to reopen in May. Edward Eastland's words came as dozens of the girls' family members sat just feet behind him as state lawmakers posed tough questions about Camp Mystic's lack of emergency planning before the devastating July 4th flood. The defendants are trying to say, how could we have anticipated a life-threatening flood like that? But that is what happens when you entrust your children into a camp. They're supposed to take care of the kids. A report is expected later this year. It appears that teens with little training may have been left in charge of the lives of children as that fatal flood washed over them. The camp promises to dramatically improve training for counselors and to stage emergency drills for campers. Jury selection has started in the legal battle involving Elon Musk and Sam Altman. The case centers on disputes tied to the founding and direction of OpenAI. Musk alleges OpenAI abandoned its original nonprofit mission and says his $38 million worth of contributions to the company were used for unauthorized commercial purposes. He says he wanted OpenAI to serve as a not-for-profit counterweight to Google. Altman and OpenAI deny wrongdoing in the lawsuit. Dances with Wolves star Nathan Chasinghorse has been sentenced to life in prison for sexual assault. A Nevada judge sentenced the actor on Monday. Earlier this year, jurors found Chasinghorse guilty of 13 of the 21 charges that he was facing, most involving a victim who was just 14 years old when the assaults began. Chasinghorse was born in South Dakota on a Native American reservation. He became widely known for portraying Smiles a lot in Kevin Costner's Oscar-winning 1990 film. An amazing film it is, too, Dances with Wolves. 7 minutes past the hour, Mexican Navy Special Forces captured a top commander of the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación who carried a $5 million U.S. bounty. Audias Flores Silva, known as El Jardinero, which translates as the gardener. He was arrested Monday in western Mexico after a 19-month operation involving 500 troops. Many times they'll call somebody the gardener if they plant bodies. That's the idea, that if you make people unalive and you make them disappear, you're known as the gardener. Security personnel surrounded a cabin near Puerto Vallarta where some 30 pickup trucks and 60 armed guards shielded the cartel figure. Turns out the operation ended without any gunfire. Everything seemed peaceful. Generacion is wanted by U.S. authorities for extradition. Flores Silva previously served 5 years in a U.S. prison for drug trafficking before returning to Mexico. The United Arab Emirates said Tuesday that it would leave OPEC starting this Friday, stripping the oil cartel of its third largest producer and further weakening its leverage over global oil supplies and prices. The UAE's decision had been rumored as a possibility for a long time, as it pushed back in recent years against OPEC production quotas that it felt had been too low, meaning it wasn't able to sell as much of the oil that it had produced to the world as it had wanted to. They had lots of oil, and the cartel was keeping the supply low so they could keep prices high. The UAE has had deteriorating relations with Saudi Arabia, OPEC's largest producer, over political and economic matters in the Middle East. 9 minutes past the hour, a federal judge has granted preliminary approval to an enormous class action settlement resolving claims that State Farm underpaid policyholders for total loss vehicle claims. The plaintiff claimed that State Farm systemically underpaid clients for the claims in breach of its insurance contracts. The allegation is that the company based the compensation they would give people who lost their vehicles for whatever reason on what was called typical negotiation adjustments, which many say are improper. You're not supposed to base the amount you give on that. State Farm denies the allegations, but agreed that they would settle the class action lawsuit just to get it done. Under the terms, the insurance company will pay $15.5 million to settle. That works out to be an average of $489 per person who's that although the settlement must still be approved, the proposed action right now, it looks like, is going to go through. And when it does, that will apparently satisfy the people involved. There is a deadline, though. If you are one of the victims, or at least you believe you're one of the victims, the deadline for filing the claim comes up on August 19th of this year. So you only have a few months to file, so contact your attorney. It is 10 minutes past the hour. Taylor Swift has filed new trademark applications for 2 voice clips and 1 image that a trademark attorney says are specifically designed to protect the pop superstar from threats posed by artificial intelligence. The filings highlight the challenges that AI can pose to the entertainment industry as AI tools generate realistic videos with well known performers and flood streaming platforms with digital music. You know that many of the AI programs now can take a few seconds or maybe a minute of various sound samples from somebody, like a news story that I'm doing right now, for instance. AI could take my likeness during the minute or so of this story and take my voice and literally recreate an entirely different Ken Rosato, God forbid, a different Ken Rosato who could then do the news and read whatever the AI wants it to read with my likeness and my voice. And most people would never know that it wasn't me in real life, that it was AI. And Taylor Swift is going through the same thing. She is an artist. She recorded all this music. She's entitled to making royalties on it. And she is accusing this AI of taking her likeness and her voice. So, what sets these filings apart is the inclusion of so called sound marks. Attempting to register a celebrity's spoken voice is a new use of trademark registration that has not been tested in court before. So by testing sound marks, there might be something subtle in a voice, like a little click in somebody's vocal cords, for instance, or just a little breathiness that most people wouldn't catch, but computers will catch. And so that's what they're using sound marks to demonstrate that, yes, this is Taylor Swift's actual voice and the AI is ripping her off. It is 12 minutes past the hour. When we return, we will have lots more news for you, local and national as well, for both the East Coast and the West. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is still on paternity leave. Good for him with his wonderful wife, Steph. They just had a little baby boy, Enzo, a week and a half ago. And hopefully that we'll have him back soon once we have them both on their feet. But for now, he leaves us his forecast, and we will have the full Garden State and national forecast. Plus, we will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, now live on the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Eastern Pennsylvania, and on the West Coast in Southern California, LA, and San Diego. We will be back in 2 minutes. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday, live in New Jersey and New York. Now we welcome Los Angeles at 15 minutes past the hour. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast near you. All right. So if you couldn't interpret that, because of course that's the automated weather system that Mike does put together, it's his own company and he puts it together for us. The forecast for the New Jersey, New York area today is going to be cloudy, low to mid 60s for LA and Southern California in general. Perfect, partly cloudy, comfortable, dry, 5% humidity, 76 degrees. That's living. That's beautiful weather in Southern California. So to our folks on the West Coast, and for those now watching on FLA down in Florida, where I was up until, hence the glow here. I was there until yesterday afternoon. Florida today, in South Florida, is going to be 82 degrees. It's been hot and humid the last few days there, and another day like that, but chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Temps again in the mid 80s. That's the temp for South Florida. It is 17 minutes past the hour. We check the temp. It's 58 degrees northern New Jersey and currently 51 degrees in Trenton. In Los Angeles, we have 60 degrees right now, 60 also in San Diego. And in traffic, we have a traffic signal down. Route 73 northbound, north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin with the left shoulder closed. There's a down pole, Route 7 westbound, south of Schuyler Ave and Kearney, the right lane of 2 lanes closed. Unanticipated construction delays on 1 and 9 truck route northbound from Hackensack Ave and Kearney to 440 in Jersey City. 2 right lanes on the right shoulder currently closed. And your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, both reporting 30 minutes right now. GWB upper and lower levels jamming tight, heavy. We'll take a look. The upper level is on the right, lower level is on the left. And you can see right now a 40-minute crossover time. On to the West Coast we go. We have a bunch of issues right now. Serious crash in South LA at the 710 at West Del Amo Boulevard on-ramp. Road closure reported East LA on the 60 at the 605. And we have a closure of a road in West LA on the 405 at Rosecrans Avenue East off-ramp. It's 19 minutes past the hour, and Congressman Tom Kean Jr. released his first public statement after missing nearly 2 months of House votes. The New Jersey Republican said that he's recuperating from a, quote, personal medical issue and expects to be fully recovered soon. Kean has not voted in Congress since March 5th, prompting growing concern from his political allies. Apparently, he just disappeared. Didn't tell anybody where he was or what the deal was, or if he did, they kept it very quiet. Republican leaders say they had no idea why Kean was MIA, but that they look forward to his return. His absence comes during a critical legislative period and ahead of a competitive reelection campaign in New Jersey's 7th congressional district. Investigators for the New Jersey State Police confirmed 15 missing agricultural drones were found on Monday. The devices were stolen March 24th at the CAC International in Harrison. Officials began to worry when they realized that somebody could use those specialized drones that are built for spraying crops to possibly spray dangerous chemicals over a wide population. The drones were found at Prudent Corporation in Dover. Workers say they were at those drones were left at Prudent on Monday, the same day they were allegedly stolen from the other location. The workers realized something was weird about that, called police. Now the FBI is trying to figure out who took them, why they were brought to Prudent and left there, and they're trying to get to the bottom of this all. 20 minutes passed, and federal agents seizing evidence in Minnesota during an ongoing fraud investigation by the Trump administration of publicly funded social programs for children. Armed agents were seen at child care centers in the Minneapolis area. The searches occurred months after influencer Nick Shirley posted a video that said members of Minnesota's Somali community were running fake child care centers to collect federal subsidies. To date, at least 65 people, many of whom are Somali, I believe 59 or 60 of the 65, have been convicted of ripping off a federal program that was meant to provide food to children. This investigation began, though, during the Biden administration. So the current separate investigation involving fraud appears to show as much as $9 billion in federal funds that supported 14 Minnesota-run programs since 2018 may have been stolen. In other words, a bunch of fronts saying that they were doing child care when there was no child care, and they were collecting government funds that dates back from the pandemic in order to supposedly keep afloat because the child care centers couldn't see kids. So they were accepting government grants, et cetera, and they weren't really child care facilities. And that's the allegation. So we'll see what happens. But already on the other part of this, 65 people, for all the people who say, oh, the right-wing people, it's all fake. They're not. There's no fraud. Well, 65 have been convicted by juries. So that says something. And these are juries of fellow Minneapolis people. 22 minutes past the hour, Hackensack Meridian Health is opening the nation's first comprehensive health and wellness center. It'll be built inside Metro Park Station. The goal is to provide urgent care, primary care, imaging, rehab services, pharmacy access, blood work, and specialty care all in one location right there at the train station and the bus station to make healthcare convenient for the 60,000 monthly NJ Transit and Amtrak commuters who use Metro Park. Brilliant, right? So you get off the train, you get off the bus, or you go to the bus, everybody knows where Metro Park is, so somebody could drop you off there, and everything is there. You don't have to go from the doctor to the x-ray everything is there. The project is part of a larger Metro Park redevelopment plan that includes housing and retail space. Hackensack Meridian will also move its headquarters right into the building, so everything is going to be at one location. Sounds amazing. 22 minutes past. Governor Mikey Sherrill assigned Executive Order 17 meant to accelerate the production of housing at the Garden State. It calls for gathering of a housing governing council, and it directs all agencies to submit a written housing affordability report to the governor's office. Well, it's a lot of meeting, a lot of reports to tell New Jersey voters that the Sherrill administration is doing something for them. Whether it'll result in real change is yet to be seen, because there doesn't seem to be a real answer, a real solution. It's just, well, you have a report on this, and you have a report on this, and you have a report on this, and we'll try to figure it out. That's where it is. Tragedy in Princeton, where a middle school student has died after an e-bike collided with a car. The accident happened Sunday at an intersection. Police say the crash remains under investigation. The names of those involved have not yet been released. Now, the tragedy comes ahead of new statewide e-bike regulations set to take effect in the Garden State July 20th. The new rules will require riders to be at least 15 years of age. They must wear helmets. They must carry insurance. Do you hear that, parents? In order to ride an e-bike or an e-scooter, the kids will have to have insurance, which means mommy and daddy have to get the insurance for the kid. And they must obtain a license or permit. That is because in case there is an accident and the e-bike driver is responsible, you need to be able to figure out who it is. You can't just be some kid with no license who hits somebody, kills them, and then goes on their way. Been saying that about New York City bike riders for years, but seems to fall on deaf ears in New York. 24 minutes past, and New Jersey lawmakers are advancing the Stop Sepsis Act to require hospitals to strengthen sepsis protocols and staff training. Now, sepsis is when you get an infection that quickly spreads throughout the body after starting with something as minor as a little scrape or a cut or even a cough. It can quickly spiral into something as serious as multiple organ failure or death. 1.7 million Americans end up with sepsis every year, resulting in 350,000 deaths. In the state of New Jersey alone, 2,000 deaths. And even though numbers have been improving for New Jersey, the state has historically had a higher sepsis mortality rate than many other states. Sepsis is the number one cost of hospital care and the number one cause of death in hospitals. A new SafeWise study ranked Vernon Township as the safest city in New Jersey for the third straight year. Good going, Vernon. Bernards Township, South River, Barnegat Township, and Dumont all made the top 5 safest communities list. Now, notice that with the exception of Dumont, I believe they're all in, down the shore in southern New Jersey, where the population is lower. I'm not slighting us. I live in northern New Jersey, so I'm not slighting the north. I'm just saying that population congestion has a lot to do with it. Researchers analyzed FBI crime reporting data from 151 New Jersey municipalities. New Jersey's violent and property crime rates both rank below national averages in the report, but you should take note. Progressive DAs in many of New Jersey's communities, and mind you that the progressives control the top 15 largest cities in New Jersey, and progressive DAs in many of those communities in New Jersey don't prosecute a lot of crimes. So it looks like crime is going down when in reality, crime is still happening, maybe even happening to a greater extent. But if the prosecutor who gets into office says, well, I'm not going to prosecute those crimes, I believe they've been unfair, even though lawmakers passed them, I don't believe they should be enforced. So if a kid has a petty crime, robs $200 from CVS, we're not going to prosecute. So it looks on paper like, oh, I see crime is down. That's amazing. In reality, all it is the DA in those communities says, we're not going to prosecute those crimes because we believe there have been class improprieties or racial improprieties or ethnic improprieties. So by not prosecuting certain crimes, it looks like crime went down on paper when in reality it did not. That has been happening in New York and LA now for about a decade. And you can see the marked decrease in crime as more and more DAs came in and said they're not going to prosecute. And then a year later, they look, our crime is down so far. Yeah, if you do not prosecute, of course, crime will look like it's down on paper because it didn't exist. Future generations don't know the verbal stories passed on from person to person. If it's not written down, it never happened. You know what? Some of the most dangerous third world countries in Central and South America have a very bad criminal record system. And on paper, it looks like they are safer to live in than the United States, but they're not. It's 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, a classic game is making a major comeback. We will explain. The phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast near you is coming up too. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, seen daily at ONNJ.com, ONLACA.com, ONFLA.com, and 20 other platforms. It is Wednesday morning, hump day. We're coming back in 2. Very good morning. 30 minutes past the hour, Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and now the West Coast. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast near you. All right, so that's the automated forecast because our meteorologist Mike Favetta is on paternity leave. Pam, our director, and I, we thought that he and his wife Steph had their baby at different times. I said, "Oh, it's been like a week and a half." Pam's like, "No, it's only been Friday." We were both wrong. It was last Wednesday, 1 week ago today. So Pam, we should call Mike and Steph up and wish them a happy 1 week birthday for little baby Enzo. Let's just wake him up right now. I'm sure, because God knows the baby isn't waking him up at this hour. No, infants don't do that. They let people sleep. Anyway, God bless them. And the forecast is cloudy for New Jersey today, but mild, 63 degrees off to the West Coast for our folks in LA and San Diego. It's going to be 76 in LA, 78 San Diego, partly cloudy, beautiful and dry. Nice. Current temperature 50 degrees in Trenton, is 58 northern New Jersey, 60 degrees in Southern California. And in terms of our traffic, we have a lot of a down signal now, down traffic signal, Route 73 northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin with a left shoulder closed. Route 7, we have a down pole westbound south of Schuyler Avenue in Kearney with the right lane of 2 lanes closed. There's unanticipated construction delays right now. And this is on 1 and 9 truck route northbound from Hackensack Ave in Kearney to 440 in Jersey City. 2 lanes and the right shoulder closed. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland right now, moving slowly, but at least moving with 25 to 30 minutes into Manhattan. In fact, let's take a look at 139, which is taking you into the Holland Tunnel. That is jamming. You can see how heavy that is. The lanes on the left side of your screen, those are the right lanes for the right tube. And right now, again, it's going to cost you 25 to 30 minutes in. The upper and lower levels of the GWB, slow but moving at least. There is motion there we saw from 15 minutes ago. We take a look at the 8095 approach now. The upper levels on the right, lower on the left, and that is a 35 to 40-minute ride into Manhattan. Quickly to the West Coast, we just have a few things to point out. Serious accident that happened about an hour ago in South LA at the 710 and West Del Amo Boulevard on-ramp. We also have a road closure in East LA at the 60 and the 605 intersection. And there's another road closure in West LA at the 405 and West Imperial Highway. It is 34 minutes past the hour, and a classic game is making a major comeback as Mahjong continues to grow in popularity. This Cinco de Mayo, which is coming up on Tuesday already. Crazy. May is here. That trend is coming together for a meaningful cause with Cinco de Mahjong. I guarantee in Mexico, where they don't even celebrate Cinco de Mayo, they will celebrate Cinco de Mahjong. My mother is a mahjongaholic, by the way. This is all happening next Tuesday, May 5th at the Upper Saddle River Fire Station. Doors open at 6 p.m. If you haven't played mahjong, it's very fun. Leslie LaBelle is a mahjong teacher, artist, and mom. Amy Berger is the founder and CEO of Amesley Management Group. They're here to talk about mahjong's resurgence and Cinco de Mahjong. You need to have like a big anchor voice, say, with an echo, Cinco de Mahjong. That sounds like so much fun. My mother would kill me if I didn't get her to get there. I'm telling you. Good morning, Leslie and Amy. How are you?
Morning.
Very, very well. Thank you. Good morning. Is your mom local?
No, she's in Westchester, but I will take her there. My mother has like 20 different mahjong games on her phone, and I have been told to shh, shh while she's doing moves. So that's how serious mom is about her mahjong. You just don't mess with her. But she only got into it in the last 10 years, but she is totally with it. Why do you think mahjong? We'll start with Leslie. Why do you think mahjong is having such a huge resurgence right now, especially among, in this case, women in social groups?
Yeah, there's a couple of really big reasons, and one is Amy and I talk about this a lot. It's a big, people want to be off their phones. They want to disconnect from social media, and they want to be present. They want to meet other people face to face, and it's time. We're past the point of, having to stay in our homes for various reasons, and now we want to be out and meeting and be social and have fun. And also, it has a lot of cognitive benefits.
Well, it's funny you said that now because my mother, and again, sorry to keep harkening back to mom, and she does watch. Hi, Mom, Ro. She both plays on her phone and she plays with others. But when she's not playing with others, she plays on her phone to stay, caught up and practiced. Why do you think it's so addictive? Is it the music? Is because it's a whole different Asian theme with mahjong, right? It's cute. And when I first heard the music in the background, I said, "What are you doing? What are you playing?" She just got into it so much. That's all she plays. It seems to be so engaging. What do you think?
My personal opinion, I think any age, this game, any age could play, and you can play at every level. Children are playing, people in their midlife are playing, people in their, latter half in their life are playing. You can play it to be extremely competitive. You can play it to be social. There's a variety of ways you can play, and I don't know, and people are now making really cool mahjong sets. So it's fun. I think it speaks to everyone. Amy, what do you think?
Yeah, and Amy, in fact, we should bring like yes, definitely bring Amy in. Amy, you guys united the concept of this really fun and addictive game, and the fact that we have Cinco de Mayo coming up, right, next Tuesday. So, who came up with the concept of Cinco de Mahjong? That's brilliant. I love it.
Maybe Chat GPT. No, for me, I love doing events where I like to say, meet them where they're at. I had done a big pickleball event in September for the same organization for Comfort Cases, and we had, about 120 people out in the Bergen County area, very well supported by the community. And I felt, okay, like pickleball, here is this, a little different, but, Mahjong Renaissance going on. Why don't we bring women together again in this social setting? And I know that lately women, going out at 6 p.m. is a lot easier to get them out, than telling them, hey, let's go meet up at 8:30 p.m. So we decided, put a little twist on the name Cinco de Mayo, call it Cinco de Mahjong because it just worked. And Leslie was actually my coach. She coaches a lot of people in the area. She coached me on playing along with a bunch of my friends. And I called her up and I said, look, you're really the perfect person to help me get this off the ground because there will be women playing open play there with their group of friends. But there's a lot of women still wanting to learn this game.
Mhm.
And Leslie has the perfect personality, the calmness, really an expert at this and able, to teach. So it really catered to two type of audiences, the ones that want to play open play and the ones that feel like, oh, this is a great chance to learn with some Mexican food and, some good drinks from mocktails to alcohol and, make it a real event.
That is awesome. Gosh, I love that. And yeah, it's so good. When I was a kid, And that was like 80 years ago. When I was a kid, you had clubs. Men had clubs, women had clubs, everybody had a club. So like the ladies club would meet and they would do something, either a fundraiser or they would just meet and do something social like this. In the last like 20 years, it seems that that's all gone bye. And I think a lot of it is, this. So all that's been gone. Now, I understand that men and women today, everybody's so busy. We have the two worker households and the kids rushing off to soccer and school. I get it. But it's so refreshing to know that women in northern New Jersey now are taking the time to socialize, to just get away and spend time together. You should. And this is fantastic. Now, I'm glad Amy mentioned, Leslie, you teach people how to play Mahjong because it's not something that everybody is born knowing how to play. So when did you first feel that you could convey how to teach this, what appears to be at first a very complex game, but it really isn't, is it?
It's been a couple years now, and then I mean every time I teach, I have a different experience with the people that I'm teaching. Everybody brings a different element to the table and different questions and different mindset, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I guess I have from having three kids, I have patience, and I'm a formal analyst, so I love numbers, I love games, and I actually love teaching women. I actually would love everyone I teach to invite me back to their table. So that's my goal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And if I can jump in, so when the night, I guess the doors open at 6, right? And part of the night is going to be you will instruct whoever wants to be instructed. Otherwise, people can go off and have their own games as well, correct?
It'll run simultaneously. So there'll be a section of the room that Leslie and another coach will teach, and they're volunteering their time, which is, just terrific. And the open play side will be women that actually, that's another thing. How often do you go to an event and you're bringing your own things? You usually think when you're there, aren't you bringing it for me? But these women are so attached also to their own Mahjong sets that they are coming out with their sets to play. And it's almost like you know, seeing the different sets. You could almost be walking around like it's a museum, the Mahjong Museum, and seeing, oh, that's a beautiful set. Where did you get that? Oh, that's a beautiful set. Where did you get that? And it's a hyper focused game. I mean, even though there's food and there's drinks and raffle tickets and some giveaways, you almost don't bother these women while they're playing. They almost don't even get up to get food. They're so engrossed in the game.
I
So
love it.
it is a wild experience. The nice thing is, I think, I find often from being in the world of experiential activations and creating these wow factors, if I told women, and I get it even as myself, hey, you should come out tonight. It's National Foster Care Awareness Month. This gentleman's going to come speak. It's going to be great. Really, I have 20 things I want to do.
Right.
Hey, come out and play Mahjong. It's going to benefit X, and this gentleman is going to come and speak. Now they're coming for Mahjong. That's the truth. I get it. But once he gets in there and he does his thing, people really gravitate towards him, but they're there
Right.
because they get to do something fun.
And we should
It's
mention,
funny.
and yes, you are raising money, you're raising awareness too for National Foster Care Awareness Month. And for those who don't realize, when a child ages out at 18, and I know two people who have, they literally are handed a garbage bag in many cases, full of whatever little belongings they have, and you're gone. That's it. The place you used to put your head down on a pillow, you're 18 years old on your birthday. Sorry, love you, mean it, go. And if you don't have a family, you're on your own in the whole world. That's how a lot of these kids end up homeless on the streets. So thankfully, you're doing something about this. We're out of time, unfortunately, but we quickly need a website to get more information about the event. What's the website?
Yeah, so for the registration, it's give.comfortcases.org/Mahjong. Very
Well,
easy.
you're great, ladies. Thank you for doing it. It sounds like a fun event. Cinco de Mahjong next Tuesday. It's coming up on Tuesday, May 5th, day after my birthday, I should mention, at the Upper Saddle River Fire Station. Doors open 6 p.m. Mahjong teacher, artist, and mom Leslie LaBelle and Amy Berger, founder and CEO of Amesley Management Group. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Have a blast on Tuesday.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ken.
You bet. It is 44 minutes past the hour. When we come back, the Kentucky Derby is known as the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. But for many people, it's also one of the biggest fashion events of the year. On New Jersey's fashion expert, Dawn Del Russo, will be here to talk about it. Maybe she'll have one of the big fancy hats. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 46 minutes past the hour. We're taking calls at 888-658-0234. Here's meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast for your city. So the translation of all that, we're going to have clouds in New Jersey for the most part, but it should be dry. Temps in the low to mid 60s, a little cooler at the shore, upper 50s. And then to the West Coast, it's going to be beautiful, partly cloudy, partly sunny. dry, 5 to 10% humidity. I mean, that's dry, no sweating at all. Temps in the mid 70s. Just a perfect Southern California day. If you can escape to the beach, that's perfect to make that happen. It's just a wonderful, wonderful day to be in California. Right now, 50 degrees in Trenton. It's 56 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 also down the shore. California now 60 in LA and 62 in San Diego. A lot of traffic happening. Let's go over what we have really quickly. Let's go to the New Jersey Turnpike, mile marker 112.3, the Eastern Spur at interchange with 16E. So 16E is what takes you to the Lincoln Tunnel. That gets you over to the Lincoln. And look at what we have. Everybody's jamming. So we don't know why that's the case, because once you get onto 495, it's slow, but it is moving. It just may be a case of volume right now, or some sun glare as it's filtering through the clouds. But you can see that that's going to cost you a lot of time making your way to the Route 495, which is the helix into Manhattan. Looking at some other areas, we have a downpole Route 7 westbound south of Schuyler Avenue, Kearney. All lanes are closed, and we have a traffic signal down Route 73 northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin with a left shoulder closed. Your Holland Tunnel approach right now, if you want to take a look at 139, Pam, if you do still have 139 off of the turnpike. So that's not much better. So now we had the 16E off of the New Jersey Turnpike going into the Lincoln. This is 139 off the New Jersey Turnpike into the Holland. Look, it stopped. Just an absolute mess into Manhattan today. I mean, I laugh out of stress, not laughing out of like mocking these poor folks. And if we switch over to the GWB approach, upper and lower levels, a little bit better than that. They're telling us about 35 to 40 minutes, but we will take it. At least there's a little forward motion, upper level on the right, lower on the left. Quickly on the West Coast, we have a collision just reported in Baldwin Park on the 10 at Route 57, and we have a serious crash that happened about an hour ago, South LA on the 710 at West Del Amo Boulevard on-ramp. It is 7:51 East Coast, 4:51 West, and the Kentucky Derby is known as the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, but for many people, it's also one of the biggest fashion events of the year. From oversized hats and pastel dresses to bold suits and Southern-inspired style, Derby fashion has become a tradition all its own, blending elegance, creativity, and statement-making looks. Joining us now to talk about it, Dawn Del Russo, fashion expert and founder of LiveTheGlamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R, to break down the history behind Kentucky Derby fashion and share this year's must-have style trends. Where's your mint julep and your hat, young lady?
I know. As soon as I sat down, I said, oh no, I don't have my little fascinator hat, which I really need to have, especially for this weekend, and my mint julep. That would be nice to sip on.
I think, well, let's get our priorities straight. Mint julep first. I think that's the priority.
There we go.
So this sort of kicks off the summer season of style, doesn't it? I mean, because everybody, men and women, get dressed to the nines to be. It's one of the last events in America where you don't just walk in jeans at the Kentucky Derby.
Exactly. I love that. I mean, anything to get dressed up is exciting to me. And the fact that we're doing it in America, it does come from a European flair. I mean, I believe it started in 1875. The Kentucky Derby, or the Royal Ascot started, and then we transitioned it over here to the Kentucky Derby. And it's amazing that people really do put the effort in to get super dressed up. It has a Southern charm to it. I think everyone there does get a little bit more dressed up naturally on a day-to-day basis. So that's the reason why it kind of crosses over, I think, from Europe to here, and we allow ourselves to do a little bit more dressing. It's a high society feeling. It's a little bit more international, the crossover, and it's a social event. It's a reason for people to go and not only watch a race, but wear their best attire. So they do. It's always a hat. A hat is essential to the Kentucky Derby. One really go to the Kentucky Derby without wearing a fascinator or some type of big oversized hat. They've gotten bigger and bigger over the years too. I feel like they were in Europe. It started really huge, and then it got a little smaller with the fascinators, and now we're back to really big hats again. So if there's one thing you're going to have, it's a hat.
So the fascinators, for those who don't realize, those little like pin-on things, the little tiny things,
Yes.
and then you have the oversized hats. And the oversized hats were born out of, I mean, because it's hot and humid, and you got that
Yes.
beating sun. Louisville, Kentucky. If you've never been to Louisville, it's hot. It's like the humidity's 90%. Even in May. So the sun beats down on you, and that's where that came from, right?
Right. And that leads perfectly into the reason why you see a lot of men wearing the seersucker and the linen suits. Those are so traditional to the Kentucky Derby. And also the reason why, because it is so hot. And I think they're the lightest material that we can find for men to wear and still be in a really nice, well put together suit. I love that. I think it's interesting to see men not in the typical black and navy blues and the darker colors, and to see them bringing out these lighter pastels. I personally enjoy seeing it. I don't know if a lot of men love wearing it. I think more South, they do. They feel like it's a time to put this on. And then the women match with the florals. They do a lot of bold prints, stripes, polka dots. It's where you can have fun with the colors, where you're allowed to like go overboard and wear the really, really bright looks. The skirts are a little bit longer. The dress is a little bit longer. It's nothing too short, not like crazy high heels. You want to actually wear shoes that are going to do well if you're walking on grass or outside. So like a wedge really works nice, or a block heel. It's about putting an outfit together that's going to look good for an outdoor day event, but still very feminine and super elevated.
Dawn, I was just at a suit store last week. Buying a new tux because I lost a lot of weight. I have 2 tuxes in the closet that are like so big. If I took them in, they would look like a tent. It looks ridiculous. But while I was in the suit store, I was amazed. They're now, for men, they're now bringing back colors that they used to have when I was a kid in the 1970s. They had these corals and these powder blues, and they were just beautiful suits, and they were just cut so beautifully. The style, it doesn't look like the oversized lapel from 1976 with the ruffly shirts. I mean, very elegant and tasteful, and like you said, very Southern. And they're up here. The suit stores are selling them here now.
Yeah, and it's great. I think taking looks from the Kentucky Derby, a lot of people are going to be doing parties this weekend. I have a few friends that I know like to do it here. They don't go to the Kentucky Derby, but then they have parties in their homes, and it's a fun way to play up that style. So if you are going to a party or you're going to someone's house to watch the Kentucky Derby, have a little bit of fun with it. Maybe try some pastel colors. I know guys are a little hesitant sometimes, but definitely give it a try. Now's your chance to play around with that. And also gloves. Gloves are a big part of the women's attire too. They love to wear gloves for the Kentucky Derby. I enjoy the fun of it. So any reason to get dressed up and put something different on that you don't normally get to wear, it's a good opportunity for that. As for the people that are attending the actual Kentucky Derby, it's really transitioned. So it was originally very high society, and now we see a lot more, of course, the influencers. They're always there. They're always showing up. Yeah. Celebrities and a ton of me. Exactly. Which is, it's funny because it's changed the whole concept of it. And I feel like we need to go back to where it was more about, where you were and enjoying being in the moment, rather than all of that. And so maybe there's a mix. There's people that are from that area and do attend because they love truly seeing the Kentucky Derby and betting and seeing what horse is going to win.
I'm with you. And by the way, just added fun, if you're going to have a Kentucky Derby party at home, and you could get the recipes from mint juleps, they're easy. It's like an American mojito. That's basically a mint julep, right? It's a mojita, whatever. But you can now gamble legally in New Jersey online. You could actually place a bet on a real bet, like the people at the Kentucky Derby. You can do it legally online in New Jersey. So that's something you could do at the party. You could have people come around. Just don't go crazy. Don't do it after you've had your mojitos. All right. We always love having you on, always with the fashion advice. Dawn Del Russo, basing it around the hat. I got to go out and get a real hat now.
I know.
The fashion lives with this lady right here. Fashion expert, founder of livetheglamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R. Dawn Del Russo, always love having you on. Thank you for coming on this morning, and happy Kentucky Derby weekend.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Thank you. 58 minutes past the hour. Those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news, traffic, weather. If you're watching on New Jersey, we will be right back with our local news, traffic, opinion, weather, lots more. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. very good morning. 8:01, Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today for New Jersey, highs about 63. Here is meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. All right, so the forecast, once again, if you couldn't make out the automated forecast there, it's going to be cloudy today, maybe some peaks of sun. We have some filtered sun coming through right now, causing some sun blindness as people are driving by. And the temps today in the low to mid 60s for New Jersey. So pretty much a repeat, a lot like yesterday was for today. It is currently 56 degrees northern New Jersey. It is 53 degrees in Trenton. It is 50 down at Cape May, a little cooler by the shore, is always the case for the first couple of months of or late the end of spring, beginning of summer. That's always the case because the ocean temperature lags behind. And over in Vineland, it is 55 degrees. And we take a look at traffic, and we have a lot of it. Let's go over to Route 46. There's a crash, 46 eastbound, east of McBride Avenue by Little Falls Township. The left lane is closed, and look at the backup that this is causing. This is all the way over by Union Boulevard. So this is causing about a 2 to 2.5 mile delay into this stretch right here. And that's what you see. Just an absolute mess. In fact, I know exactly where those folks are because I have driven that a million times. That's right near where it merges with 3. You can get off if you continue another mile down the road. It's right. Actually, it's a mile behind you is the Route 3 mix. But anyway, just to let you know, that's going to be a mess. Those folks are going to have to deal with that for a little bit. Again, a crash, Route 46 eastbound, east of McBride Avenue, Little Falls Township. Left lane is closed. We have a down pole, Route 7 westbound from 508 to south of Schuyler Avenue in Kearney. All lanes are closed with that. Traffic signal down Route 73 northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin with the left shoulder closed. Your Hudson River approaches right now. Pam, if you could bring up 139 again, if you have it. 139 there. Pam's awesome. This is 139 from the Turnpike into the Holland Tunnel, and that is very slow this morning. It's going to cost you about 30 to 35 minutes in. The approach to the Lincoln Tunnel right now, 495 Helix, is moving a little better. It's about 25 to 30. And GWB upper and lower levels, you'll see moving, but very heavy. Look at that. We got the circle of death there as it's loading up. But believe me, there is actual motion there. You'll see when the computer finally loads. I think we just got a little overload on the Wi-Fi going right now. But the upper levels on the right, lowers on the left. I could see it over here, actually. See if I can bring it up on my own screen. Well, of course, I'm not having success over here either. Maybe their system is frozen. That could be the case too. But nonetheless, it's going to cost you about 40 minutes in. Here we go, New Jersey Turnpike Tour. I promise I'll show you. 40 minutes in right now at the, let's see, do I have it here? I promised, so now I got to show it. Oh, and you have it. There you go. Pam beat me to it. Pam's faster at it than I am. So you can see they are actually moving, getting in to Manhattan. So there you have it. It is 8:06 right now, and President Trump was gifted a precious bell that came from an historic British submarine called the HMS Trump. No word on whether it was actually related to his own family, but Trump was a name in Scotland, and so it's very possible that that was a relative it was named after. King Charles III gave President Trump the gift during a state dinner at the White House last night. The king also thanked Trump for his generous hospitality during what he said was his 20th visit to the United States, but it's his first visit as the king of Great Britain. The king left Trump's guests laughing. He had a very wry observation that the British had, quote, made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House. He was referring to when troops tried to burn it down back in 1814. Back in those days, we weren't exactly friends with the British. Remember, we were trying to leave them. Remember, the 4th of July was our little way of saying goodbye, Britain. But it's nice to see that we have become friends again. Former FBI Director James Comey issued a video response yesterday to a new indictment on 2 charges of making threats to harm President Trump. It stems from a social media post in which he arranged seashells on a North Carolina beach last year that read 8647, as you see there on your screen. Comey says the arrangement of seashells was just a political message. Actually, in the beginning, he made a comment that he just came upon it, which was BS. He didn't just come upon it. Now he's changing his tune and saying, well, it was a political message. Well, I thought you said that you just came upon it. And then he said he had no idea what 86 meant. And now he's saying it's a political message. So you got to come up with something better than that. He says he never realized the numbers could be associated with violence. Oh no, he was only the head of the FBI, one of the biggest intelligence agencies on the planet. Why should he know that members of the mob, when they say, I'm going to 86 somebody, that means they're going to kill them and discard the body? Why would you know that? No. Well, if you didn't know that, then you should have never been the head of the FBI because it shows total incompetence. And if you did know that, you could be in big trouble, Mr. Comey. He could face 20 years in federal prison if convicted because that was a threat. He was saying 86, which is slang verb for off, like kill, 47. Who is 47? You figure it out. But that is a very stupid move that Mr. Comey did. It is 8 minutes past the hour, and jury selection has started in the legal battle involving Elon Musk and Sam Altman. The case centers on disputes tied to the founding and direction of OpenAI. Musk alleges OpenAI abandoned its original nonprofit mission and says his $38 million of contributions to the company were used in an unauthorized commercial way. He says he wanted OpenAI to serve as a not-for-profit counterweight to Google. Altman and OpenAI deny any wrongdoing in the lawsuit. Dances with Wolves star Nathan Chasinghorse has been sentenced to life in prison for sexual assault. A Nevada judge sentenced the actor on Monday. Earlier this year, jurors found Chasinghorse guilty of 13 of the 21 charges that he faced, most involving a victim who was just 14 years old when the assaults began. Chasinghorse was born on a Native American reservation in South Dakota. He became widely known for portraying the character Smiles-A-Lot in Kevin Costner's iconic Oscar-winning 1990 film, Dances with Wolves. Mexican Navy Special Forces captured a top commander of the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, who carried a $5 million U.S. bounty. Alias Flores Silva, known as El Jardinero, was arrested on Monday in western Mexico after a 19-month operation involving 500 troops. Security personnel surrounded a cabin near Puerto Vallarta where some 30 pickup trucks and 60 armed guards shielded the cartel figure. Turns out the operation ended without any gunfire. Generacion is wanted by U.S. authorities for extradition. Flores Silva previously served 5 years in a U.S. prison for drug trafficking before returning to Mexico. It is 10 minutes past 8, and the United Arab Emirates said on Tuesday it would leave OPEC starting this Friday, stripping the oil cartel of its third largest producer and further weakening its leverage over global oil supplies and prices. The UAE's decision had been rumored as a possibility for quite a while as it pushed back in recent years against OPEC production quotas that it felt had been too low, meaning they had lots of oil to sell, and OPEC said, no, we're going to put just a little on the market because they wanted to keep if the demand was high and the supply was low, it keeps the price per barrel high. But UAE then has to sit behind what Saudi Arabia is selling and wait for them to sell first. So they said, enough of this. The UAE has had deteriorating relations with Saudi Arabia, sort of its big brother country to the north, for quite some time. OPEC's largest producer is Saudi Arabia, and they've had a lot of, let's just say, disagreements over political and economic matters in the Middle East. The UAE tends to be more Western friendly. Saudi Arabia, on the surface, is very Western friendly, but there are a lot of members of the family, like 2 and 3 levels down, who are very, very, very pro radical Islam and finance a lot of stuff quietly on the side. So while you have the Saudi prince and whatnot, who's buddy with President Trump, his cousins, who are also worth hundreds of millions of dollars, are seemingly, allegedly financing a lot of nefarious activity around the Middle East. UAE doesn't do that. They just want live and let live. They want everybody to make money. A federal judge has granted preliminary approval to a class action settlement resolving claims that State Farm underpaid policyholders for total loss vehicle claims. The plaintiff claims that State Farm systemically underpaid clients for the claims in breach of its insurance contracts. The allegation is that the company based compensation on typical negotiation adjustments, which many say are not proper. State Farm denies the allegations, but did agree to settle the class action lawsuit. Under the terms, the insurance company pays $15.5 million to settle. That's $489 a person. Although the settlement must still be approved, the proposed deadline for submitting a claim is August 19th. And Taylor Swift has filed new trademark applications for 2 voice clips and 1 image that a trademark attorney says are specifically designed to protect a pop superstar from threats posed by AI. The filings highlight the challenges that AI poses to the entertainment industry. It is now 57 degrees, and when we come back, Rider University's Semester in Los Angeles program is giving students the opportunity to live, work, and learn directly inside the entertainment capital of the world. We will explain when we are back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We're taking calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, highs about 63. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta's Garden State forecast. So the interpretation of that, because our meteorologist Mike Favetta is on paternity leave with his new baby Enzo, his wonderful wife Steph, and big brother Nino, and they are taking care of the new baby right now. So he leaves us that. That is a live, actual automated forecast that he produced. But because there isn't a human to interpret, he left me this. So it's going to be cloudy today for most of New Jersey. Highs about 63, a little cooler at the shore, probably upper 50s down the shore, but not a bad day overall. It's going to be basically a repeat of yesterday for today. And gradually by next week, it'll warm up just a little bit, a degree or two here or there. Our temperature right now, 56 degrees, northern New Jersey. It is 53 degrees in Trenton, 50 down the shore, Cape May, 55 degrees in Vineland. We have a lot of traffic incidents happening right now. In fact, let's jump right over to 495 if we can, Pam. This is the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel. And you can see this is getting heavy right there. And there's a reason for it. Apparently, there is a disabled vehicle as you enter one of the tubes for the Lincoln Tunnel. So that's causing a bit of a backup. You could see on those center lanes, the Lincoln Tunnel approach of 495. We have, that was the center lane, in fact, and it says it's backed up now from Weehawken in. We have issues now. Route 73 traffic signal down northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin. The left shoulder and left lane closed. And we have a crash on Route 46 eastbound east of McBride Avenue, Little Falls. The left lane is closed there, causing about a 2-mile backup. We have a down pole Route 7 westbound from south of Schuyler Avenue, Kearney. All lanes are closed through there, and that's causing about a mile backup. And your approach right now to the Holland Tunnel, look at the 139. You can see that's also quite heavy, as well as the Lincoln. Everything actually is pretty heavy into the Hudson River. So look at these lanes, the left side of your screen, making your way to the right tube. That's pretty heavy. That's going to cost you about 40 minutes in via the Holland Tunnel. GWB upper and lower levels right now. There's some police department activity because of westbound issues. There's a truck apparently on the westbound side, and that's causing rubbernecking. This is the eastbound side, but you can see the upper level on the right, lower on the left, and that is a solid 45-minute ride into Manhattan. And now our next segment brought to you by our friends at Rider University. For many college students dreaming of careers in entertainment, media, sports, and communications, breaking into the industry can feel impossible without the right connections and the right experience. But Rider University's Semester in Los Angeles program is giving students the opportunity to live, work, and learn directly inside the entertainment capital of the world. And you can make the argument in New York, too. We have 2 entertainment capitals. Dr. Sean Kilday, Associate Professor and Chairperson of the Department of Media Arts at Rider University. Barry Janes, who is a Professor and Director of the Semester in Los Angeles program. And Emily O'Connor, a recent participant in the spring 2026 cohort who was offered a job in LA following her internship. Good morning to the 3 of you. Good to have you all on.
Hey, good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Professor, let me ask the professor, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Kilday?
No, I'm sorry. You know what? Forgive me. Janes, is that correct?
Janes. Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely.
I thought to myself when I
right.
saw it, is it Janice or is it Janes? Is it Janice?
Yeah, no,
I'm glad. Thank you.
Janes,
right,
you got it right. You got it right.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
This little broadcaster better get it right in front of all these broadcast professors in front of me. So let's start with Sean. This is exciting. I mean, the 2 places you want to be if you're getting into broadcasting are LA or New York, clearly. What makes the Semester in Los Angeles program different from the traditional study abroad or internship experience?
Well, it's like you said, there's no place like Hollywood. It's the entertainment capital of the world. Years ago, we would do a spring break to LA, and then, my colleague here, Dr. Janes, says we should probably think about doing a full semester out there because the experiences that the students get, not only working in the field, working at a major studios or working on with production companies or podcast stations, all of these different great opportunities. Not only do the students actually get to do that hands-on, but they get to meet people and make some connections that you just can't make in good old Lawrenceville, New Jersey, which we love, but there just aren't the same connections as you'll get in Hollywood in the entertainment industry.
Although in the next 3 to 5 years, I think that may be changing, don't you? With what's happening here in New Jersey, we've got 3 mega studios in the act of being constructed in our wonderful Garden State. Barry, though, one of the biggest themes of this program is that students become working professionals while they're still in school. They actually get that professional experience. So how important is that real world immersion so that when they come out with their degree, they could say, oh, I worked on this set and that set.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, we all know that you go through college, you get this degree, it's wonderful. But the first thing that an employer asks for is experience. What kind of experience do you have? And sending students out there for a fully immersive experience in internships. I mean, they're doing 25, 30, 35, 40 hours a week at their internships, meeting people, and they're taking classes as well. But I think one of the other things that we do really well is the prep work that we provide. So, for example, in late August, I'll run a resume workshop where we prepare the students and their resumes. We bring in some professionals from Los Angeles to review these resumes, help the students build them, so that when the internship ads begin to appear in September for the spring semester, the students' resumes are great. We've had great success. We've been running this program since 2018, and every single one of our students has gotten internships, some of them more than one. And like I said, what happens is that you get to meet people. It's not just on their internships, but where we conduct classes where we bring people in to talk with them. We have a growing network of alums. You'd be very, very surprised at the growing network of alums that we have working out in Los Angeles that we've developed over the years, and the connections that we make with these students, where students can reach out and say, hey, can you have a cup of coffee? And can we talk about what's next steps for a young person like me? So I love what we do. And I think our students are the most well prepared for entering the real world than any student here at Rider University.
And Emily recently completed the program this spring. Emily, you were actually offered a job at the end of the internship. What was your reaction when you got that offer?
I was so I don't even know. I think I remember going out to LA and being like, I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen. And then I got the job offer, and I remember calling Barry to tell Barry, and then like figuring out the whole negotiation of having a job and moving to LA and when do you start, and just starting that next chapter. It was so happy and exciting, but also so shocking.
I would imagine. And what did you do? Can you share with us what the job was?
Yeah, of course. So I work for Bubba's LA. It's a 2D, 3D animation studio. So we're working with some of the biggest IPs and companies I never imagined I would be working with at 22. And just I'm a producer's assistant. So hopping on Zooms, taking notes, helping with budgets and scheduling. It's exactly what I wanted to do. Like, and I saw myself doing that in like 3 years after I graduated, not the day or the week I graduate.
That's amazing. And I hear the giggles of pride and joy in the background, and being in I was a film guy. I went to NYU Film School, Tisch School of the Arts. So I can feel the tingles on my skin right now as you're talking about it, because I know what that feels like. And a lot of people bury here Hollywood. They immediately think film acting, but it's a lot bigger than that, right? This program is much broader. Talk about some of the other career paths.
Oh, tremendous. Yeah, tremendous. There's just so many opportunities. One of the things that we started to do is that we started to bring acting students out there. And what they do is they do an entire acting showcase in Los Angeles. So it's great for the acting students because not only do they do a theater showcase in New York at the end of the spring semester, but these students actually get to do a showcase out in Los Angeles in front of agents, in front of casting directors, and it's a great experience for them. We have students that have done game design. We've had students that have done marketing. I mean, the idea of the business side of this is so big anymore. Like Emily was talking about, there's ideas of budgets and management that you have to do. Emily was a double major in arts and entertainment industries management. So the idea of combining her film and television background with that really, really is wonderful out there. The opportunities in sports and sports media. We have students, one of our students worked for Fox Sports, got a job right out of college, Fox Sports, and within a year she had her first Emmy, she calls it. It's just a lot of amazing opportunities: music, game design, casting, acting, sports, news. There's just so many opportunities out in Los Angeles, and the whole culture is built around that industry out there. It really is. There's just so many people that are involved in some of the ancillary industries that work to it. We had a young man this semester that was interested in special effects and props, and the idea of getting him hooked up at a prop house and talking to some of these people. It's hard to do that in other kinds of areas. So while we have a wonderful program, we have very close relationships with New York, and we send internships all the time. The idea of this immersive experience where it's 24/7, you're out in Los Angeles and experiencing this. It's wonderful. We had students do an after Oscar party. They were invited to the Dolby Theater, and they sat in the same seats that the celebrities sat in during the Oscars for one of these Oscar parties. You can't get that next door or around the corner.
And I must say, again, I referenced my alma mater. It's a wonderful, huge school,
Mine
but you
too.
can get lost. Oh, you too. There you go. So 721
Yeah.
Broadway when I went. So, but the thing is, though, you get lost. We know exactly, probably ate at the same places. You could get lost, though, in a place like Tisch, right? But Rider University is great because it feels like there's a much more intimate connection with students and a lot more hand-holding, and there's a lot more desire to get that student to the next level. We're running out of time here because we have a commercial break that we're up against. But this is exciting, and it's rider.edu to get more information. Dr. Sean Kilday, Associate Professor and Chairperson of the Department of Media Arts at Rider University. Barry Janes, Professor and Director of the Semester in Los Angeles program. Emily O'Connor, we're so proud of you, recent participant in the spring 2026 cohort. She was offered a job in LA following her internship. This is a story that is just wonderful news, and it's right here, based in New Jersey. So proud of you all. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank
You
you.
bet. Thank you. And when we come back, there's a nonprofit in New York that's been around for 5 decades dedicated to ending homelessness through supportive housing and comprehensive services. We'll talk about the Jericho Project coming up next. A very good morning, Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. It is 59 degrees northern New Jersey, 53 degrees in Trenton, 55 degrees right now in Vineland, and 52 in Cape May down the shore. It was a little bit cooler at 8:31. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Clouds today, highs about 63. Now meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. The weather, again, it's going to be cloudy today. Highs about 63 degrees for the state of New Jersey, a little cooler down the shore. Meteorologist Mike Favetta on paternity leave. He'll be back in a little over a week. So we wish him and his beautiful extended family, now not extended, but growing family, we should say. We wish them well today. We have a temperature of 55 degrees in northern New Jersey, 53 degrees in Trenton. And let's take a look at some of the traffic. This is what we just got on the Garden State Parkway. There is a broken down vehicle you can see on the side of the road. This is by exit 147. I don't know if it's broken down or just, yeah, it is broken down. There we go. The hood is up. That's causing a little bit of a delay. You can see the folks getting off by 147 there. That's in the Bloomfield area. Not a massive problem, but just have to report that. We have a down pole on Route 7 westbound south of Schuyler Avenue in Kearney. All lanes currently closed on Route 7 as a result. We have a traffic signal down Route 73 northbound, and that is north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin. The left shoulder and a left lane are currently closed. They got one lane open at least. We have a lot of delays into all your Hudson River crossings this morning. 139 off the turnpike going into the Holland Tunnel is jammed. Look at those lanes on the left side of your screen. That's going to cost you 35 to 40 minutes in. The approach to the Lincoln Tunnel, not that much better right now. It's about 25 to 30 going into the Helix. And GWB upper and lower levels now. The upper level on the right side of your screen, lower level on their left. And that is a solid 45-minute ride into uptown, northern Manhattan. Well, there is a nonprofit in New York that's been around for 5 decades, dedicated to ending homelessness through supportive housing and comprehensive services. The goal is to provide a safe place to live so that individuals can build independent lives. It's called the Jericho Project. Tori Lyon is the Jericho Project's CEO, and she's here to talk about the organization's mission and an upcoming fundraising gala this Monday evening in Manhattan that yours truly has the privilege of hosting. We say good morning and welcome, Tori. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for agreeing to be the MC for our event on Monday. Really excited to see you and for the event.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. You have a wonderful organization. You're not, this isn't your first walk around the block. Obviously, it's over 40 years that you've been around. Not you, but the organization has been around. You were 2 at the time, but that's a whole other story. But this is Jericho Project. I remember when I worked at Channel 7 and Channel 5 in New York, we knew about the Jericho Project. You guys just do saints and angels work with the project. And talk about the history, talk about the founding. I know that Episcopal priests helped found it, and I was a Catholic priest, so that makes it even more near and dear to my heart.
Wow. Okay. Yes, we were founded by 3 Episcopal churches on the Upper West Side of Manhattan back in 1983. And I know you were joking that I was 2 when Jericho started, but I've actually been with Jericho. It'll be 30 years this summer. So this is really my life's work. It's very near and dear to my heart. We have been around for close to 50 years. And, what we do is very fundamental. People fall into homelessness for a number of reasons. Many times it's mental illness and substance use disorder. And so Jericho is really serving the most vulnerable of New Yorkers who experience homelessness. We provide supportive housing and housing access. And so obviously, if somebody's experiencing homelessness, the first thing they need is a safe and affordable place to live. And that we see that as the first step. So we're taking folks, many of them have been homeless for decades. And most of them have never had their own apartment. And as you can imagine, handing them the keys to their own apartment for the first time is very emotional. And we see that, like I said, as the first step. So we kind of what we call wraparound services. So once a homeless individual or family comes to us, we do a complete assessment on all the members of the household, and we really work with them as partners, not as a service provider. So individuals and families who have experiencing homelessness, they're the experts in their own lives. And so we know that they set their own goals, and we see what we could do to support that. So that's very important. And the services include everything from helping them get onto food stamps, other entitlements, helping them reunite with family, getting mental health counseling, as well as we have a very robust employment program.
You are amazing. I mean, talk about comprehensive. And by the way, the word, and we were playing your video from the gala there next to you. The word that comes to mind when you say the way, describe the origins and how you run the operation is dignity. You give people dignity. And I almost get emotional thinking about it because we talked earlier about an organization we had on earlier on the program that is helping raise money for foster kids. And here in New Jersey, we have a lot of, as you know, in New York too, you have kids who at 18, when they age out of the system, they're handed a garbage bag full of whatever things they have. And they're told, you're out on the world on your own. And we think about how blessed we were to have family and loved ones. Even if we had whatever we had something. And these kids have nothing. And how many of them end up homeless as a result because they don't know where to turn? They have nowhere to turn. They don't have a bed to put their head down on at night. And you reach out to these people and you just help guide them. And you are literally, when I say you're doing the jobs of angels and saints, I mean it. And that's why I'm so proud to help you out on Monday, whatever I can
Thank
do.
you.
And by the way, I should let you know, Monday's my birthday. I'm giving my birthday
No
because I think
way.
it's
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
it is. Because
We'll
I love
definitely have
what
to
you
have a
do.
celebration.
Well,
Yeah.
the celebration is
Yeah.
what you're doing
Thank you. Thank you.
to help all these people. So it's called Celebrate 2026 Gala, Bridges to Independence, and it's this Monday evening, May 4th in Lower Manhattan. Talk about the gala.
So this is our largest fundraising event of the year. We raise funds to help all of our programs that help, homeless people experiencing homelessness get back on their feet and achieve independence and self-determination. We're expecting about 350 people. It's at the Tribeca rooftop, as you said, on this Monday, May 4th. I'm excited to announce that we have 2 categories of honorees this year. Our Corporate Spotlight Award is going to Azimuth Development and Proceda Development. They are 2 companies that we are co-developers with on a brand new project in the Bronx that we're very excited about. It's 129 units. 60% of the units are set aside for what we call supportive housing, meaning that these are for households experiencing homelessness, and they're going to get the wraparound services that I spoke about. And I'm glad that you mentioned, young adults aging out of foster care, because we have units set aside in this building for young adults who are either runaway and homeless or aging out of foster care. So we're very excited about that. And then our other honoree is with the President's Award is a very, very special woman. She's the secretary of our board, but she also is a former Jericho tenant. And she is an Air Force veteran who was a nurse when she was in the military. And she owned a house out in Coney Island. And during Hurricane Sandy, her house was completely destroyed. And because she couldn't get home because she was in the military, her house was completely destroyed, and she missed the FEMA deadline. And so she was homeless. Coming out of the military, serving her country, she came back to New York City and she was homeless. And she happened to be at the VA Medical Center, and one of our veterans' residences is right across the street. She happened to be walking by, saw that it was a veterans' residence. She came in and she became a tenant, and she was a real leader among the tenants there. She's absolutely a lovely, wonderful person. And we're so excited to honor her with our President's Award because all that she's achieved. She now is a nurse supervisor. She's gone on and got a couple of graduate degrees, and she's working at the VA Medical Center now. So she's an amazing woman, and I'm happy to share her story.
Well, that is an amazing story. I have goosebumps hearing that. Tell everybody a website, please, Tori, for information about the organization, the gala, buying tickets. How can people do that?
Just go to our website. It's right there on our homepage. It's www.jerichoproject.org.
JerichoProject.org. Well, I will be there. Can't wait to see you face to face. The Jericho Project's fundraiser is called Celebrate 2026 Gala this Monday evening, May 4th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Tribeca Rooftop, Manhattan. Tori Lyon, CEO of the Jericho Project. You do an amazing job. The organization is just fantastic. Thank you for being there for so many people, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you.
Me too. Me too, very much. What a wonderful organization. And when we come back, scammers are becoming more sophisticated every year. Our friends from AARP New Jersey will be here to talk about it. We're back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 845, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, highs about 63. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's full Garden State forecast. All right, so the forecast for those who can't understand the automation, sometimes it's difficult to stop and look. It's actually going to be cloudy today, some filtered sun here and there. Highs low to mid 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta off on paternity for another week or so, but he has given me the info to pass on to you. Right now, we have a temperature of 57 degrees northern New Jersey, 53 in Trenton. It's 52 down in Cape May. The ocean temperature is a little bit cooler, and it's 55 in Vineland. In terms of traffic, we do have a lot of it. Let's start out with actual accidents and downed poles. We have a downed pole on Route 7 westbound from south of Schuyler Avenue to 508 in Kearney. All lanes are closed for that stretch. We also have a traffic signal down Route 73 northbound north of Gibbsboro Road in Berlin. Left shoulder and left lane currently blocked. Route 139 going from the Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel is going to cost you about 30 minutes. Look at the slow traffic you can see on the left side of your screen there. And then over to 495, the approach to the Lincoln Tunnel, that's a little better, about 25 minutes. And GWB upper and lower levels, now 40 minutes in, the upper level on the right, lower level on the left. Still a little bit of an improvement than where it was about 30 minutes ago. And now, a word from our friends from AARP New Jersey. Well, scammers are becoming more sophisticated every year. They target people with phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, and even now AI, artificial intelligence. New Jersey communities are working to educate residents on how to recognize these scams. And we're going to be talking with a council member, Louise Scott Roundtree of the Newark City Council, and now, and she's also, by the way, an advocacy volunteer. And then we will be talking to Chris Widello, who is Associate State Director of Advocacy for AARP New Jersey, good friend of the show. We say good morning to you. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. Good to see you. How's everything?
Chris, I know that the council member will be joining us hopefully in just a little bit, but let's talk about this fraud awareness and how important it is now more than ever before, and how specifically seniors get trapped. I can't tell you how many times I get a call, and thankfully she calls first before she clicks. My mother's 87. She's pretty savvy, though, with her phone and her computer, but she will show me something that even I have to take a triple look at, and she says, I just got this from the power company. They're saying they're going to cut us off because we haven't paid. I'm like, do not click. How is this happening still in this era, and why is it happening even more?
Yeah, you have to question and scrutinize everything. You are just bombarded, and older adults are oversampled in a way that other adults are not. So they're hit up more times than maybe the average person who's not older. But 42% of Americans have been, have had money taken from them through fraud or scams. So that's about 141 million people across the country, and that adds up to billions of dollars every single year. It's everywhere. And I think, thank goodness your mom's savvy enough to be able to kind of, double check and make sure. And I think that that's the right approach. You have to question, is this legitimate?
Yeah, two of her friends fell for the you have to buy the gift card scam. And, no legitimate organization, right? Whether it's government, power company, phone company, no legitimate corporation, organization will ever tell you you need to pay with a gift card. But yet, you get so many who get scared. And now with AI, as we mentioned, AI, they could sample a person's voice, and you might even hear a voice that sounds like your child's voice. And we've had the kidnapping scam. We have your child here, take a listen, boom, and they play a clip of their voice. And now you think, oh my God, I better go out and buy $5,000 in gift cards. This is happening constantly. So now I guess the main thing is, you have to call the police and alert them in your community when this happens immediately, right?
Yeah, it all starts there, right? So like you said, no legitimate payment is requested through gift cards. If you are asked to do something for any reason, pay through a gift card, cryptocurrency, that is not legitimate, especially government entities. You're never going to be asked to pay your taxes through gift cards or cryptocurrency. And AI is now so prevalent and so good that scammers and fraudsters are figuring out how to use this. And like you said, they can impersonate your voice, and to try to separate you from your money. It's a crime, and so you have to. I've heard of people, saying that they have like a code word. So if they are being asked for something, they say, what's our secret word? I mean, but you have to take these type of precautions. But if you find yourself a victim of a fraud, you need to start with the local police. And even if they say, hey, I don't know that it's worth it, what are we going to do? Filing the police report is the first step. So if there is ever a situation where there is some restitution, or they catch these fraudsters, you will be, legally entitled to some type of restitution. If you have that police report, that's how you report the crime. So it's really important to start there. And then we also have the Fraud Watch Network at AARP, which can give you some counseling and tell you what some next steps could be.
I'm happy to announce also that a supermarket near me here I'm in northern New Jersey, and over the holidays, I went to buy a number of gift cards. I bought maybe 10, I think, Visa gift cards. And the cashier, I guess it's part of the supermarket's program. The cashier looked at me, and I guess I'm not looking like I'm 20 anymore, Chris. And the cashier said, I mean, maybe 25. Cashier said,
not a day
to
over
me,
30.
God bless you. This is why I watch you on AARP on New Jersey. The cashier said, "Are you buying this for somebody? Or have you been coerced?" Or they went through a whole litany. And I was so thankful. I know some people would say, just give me the cards. I was so thankful and grateful that they asked those questions, because if they're asking me, they're asking others. And it could be anyone's relative who is in a circumstance where they just think, as smart as they are, that maybe I'd better do this or else my relative's life could be in jeopardy or something. So I was glad that they took the time to do that. And I'm guessing we're seeing that more and more, but still not enough to alert people, especially in their older age, that there are scammers out there at every turn.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're so grateful that some businesses are taking that approach, helping, warn people that, just want to make sure that this is, you're not trying to pay a bill or some type of, tax bill or something like that. Because, I think people get, right, when you are posed with this thing that I haven't paid a bill, or maybe somebody's in trouble, it's preying on your emotions. You're not thinking necessarily clearly. You're worried about, like, how do I get this resolved, right? I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to, if my loved one needs dollars, I need to get them there. There's also romance scams where people, fake a relationship to get to your money. And so, sometimes we don't make the best decisions when we're under pressure. And that's why it's important to talk to somebody else. Say, hey, does this sound right? Should I be doing this? Or, thankfully we have, people working in stores that are able to sort of intercept some of this, or just at least, stop you and make you think a little bit. But we need more of it. And we need to make sure there are protections in place to to ensure that these scams, are stopped. It's a billion-dollar industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry every single year, and they're getting good. But we have to remember, this is a crime.
Indeed, indeed. And Chris, I've been a member of AARP. I make no bones about it, no secret about it. I've been a member for 12 years because my parents have been members since they were in their early, I guess, late 40s or early 50s. They were members, and my mother's now 87, my dad's 95, and they get the physical magazine, and they love it, and they have been big advocates for AARP because of AARP advocating for seniors and everybody. I mean, the stories you have in the magazine, and then the discounts for people who don't realize there are so many great discounts that even many I only recently found out about with AARP. So the best organization, and not just because you're here, I talk about it when you're not here, best darn organization you can be part of because of it's so comprehensive in terms of what it does. I'm sure AARP has addressed this in the magazine over the years.
We do. We talk about it a lot, and really, anytime in our bulletin or in our magazine, you mention your parents get it, you get it. It goes out to all of our members. And there's just a hunger for it. The more we talk about it, the more people want information. As a matter of fact, we are around the community today. We're in Newark at the Cityplex 12 Theater. We're going to be holding a little bit of a fraud conference. We're going to be talking about what to do with local officials to protect yourself. We have a shred truck there. If you have documents you want shredded, you can bring them by the bag full, have them shredded on site for free from 10 to 12 today. Tomorrow, we're in Livingston doing a similar event. And then later tomorrow, Thursday evening, we're with Lieutenant Governor Caldwell in New Brunswick, and we're going to be talking with local, state, and federal officials about how to protect yourself from things like cyber crimes and make sure that you have all the information. So if you are ever confronted with this, hopefully it'll help you make this decision that will keep you safe.
Lieutenant Governor Caldwell, super nice guy. Also our Secretary of State. He wears two hats. Just a great guy. And what a great service, especially for anyone who's filed their taxes. Take all the papers you don't need now and get them shredded. Do not just throw them in the garbage. Chris, what's a website for more information from our friends, you guys at AARP?
Yeah, absolutely. We have so much to offer. www.aarp.org/NJ.
Awesome. Chris Widello, Associate State Director of Advocacy for AARP New Jersey. You know, I love when you come on, so we got to get you on even more than just this segment. You have so much information for everybody. Always great to have you on.
I'll take you up on it. Thanks, Ken.
You bet. Please. Thank you. All right, it is 58 minutes past the hour now. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says cloudy today. High's about 63, and that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m. on New Jersey. Have a good day.